Okay, hi Ole.
Hey, how are you today, Moritz?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good.
Did you have a good weekend?
Yeah, it was really nice. So, a new week, and now uh, I think we like to talk in our first episode of this podcast series about the trash on LinkedIn.
Correct. What we noticed, or what I noticed, is that a lot of people on LinkedIn pretend they want to help you, and then they generate some big post using ChatGPT, or they just basically it's just trash content, in my opinion. Um, what about you? Did you ever come across any kind of bad content on LinkedIn?
Oh yeah, I think there's many sales content at the moment, not so many knowledge or real company development content. And I noticed that the most content on LinkedIn currently is absolute salesy content or bad generated content with ChatGPT or any other AI systems. So it's really all the same stuff, and people are talking all about the same. Then no so many differentiations between each person that is writing currently.
Interesting. Okay, and how do you manage to find the good content?
Oh, it's difficult. I don't find good content. Sometimes if I comment on posts or reading some interesting things that's just popping up in my timeline. And what about you? How do you find good content at the moment?
Actually, when I started out on LinkedIn, I would always hide the people who have bad content. Like I select in LinkedIn, I don't want to see this content. I don't want to see this content.
Like my
For one
content?
hour, I would continuously select this, but it seems to be a bit difficult, especially when you get an influx of new contacts. Then you have to again weed out all the shit all the
Yeah,
time.
for sure.
I'm not sure if I have a good strategy right now.
I think the
Um,
main problem is that if you get a contact request, you always follow the people and then get their content. And mostly this is rubbish and trash content that's not that interesting. Yeah, that's not the field of my interest. It's maybe my opinion, but I like to read technical stuff and company development stuff most. But I like to have some context in other fields, but I don't like their content. And mostly these people are um, that are writing many things on LinkedIn. And so the algorithms may be pushing them, and there are also content where many people react on it. And then I always get it pushed in my timeline. And the people that might not optimize their content for um, clicks, that's the people that don't get pushed on the timeline. And then I missed out sometimes really interesting topics. And it's a bit annoying, but I don't know. Yeah, this kind of algorithm needs clicks, and that people that play the game nicely are the most people in my timeline. So maybe I just follow the wrong people.
yeah, so I think one problem is that other people still engage with the bad content. I don't know why, but I see a lot of content that I wouldn't call really good, but maybe it somehow catches the people, and the people get triggered, and they comment or like or something like that. And so I think one thing one can do is when we add a person on or send a contact request on LinkedIn, we can immediately unfollow the person, even though we have sent the contact request. But it's an additional click, and that's why I have never done this before myself. But it's possible, right?
Yeah, I think it's possible, but I never do it. Yeah, because I'm forgetful and I forgot to do things like that because, oh yeah, that's a maybe a colleague from one project, and so I like to have the connection, yeah, for later, you know. And then I got years ago or get content and informations from that people that I worked years ago, and now I do completely other stuff. So it's sometimes it's interesting, sometimes it's stress. So I think that's normal, but since everybody is using LMMs and AI systems for creating content, um, they're more trash, in my opinion. More people are writing and more people are generating content like, oh yeah, I need some new post, trash in, trash out, and there this bad content on my timeline.
Do you think part of the problem is that people get rewarded for attention? For example, if you get more likes, you will get shown to more people, and maybe even people beyond your network. Um, maybe would it maybe be better to not have this effect, like not have as much as a multiplicator, for example, through links, through likes or comments, or I don't know.
I think that's part of the social game. Yeah, you know, if you get rewards for it, it's feeling good. So it's nice to have many views and many clicks. And I think that's part of social networks to live. But I personally would prefer if the content is more from my personal selected timeline. Yeah, that I can curate my timeline and say, okay, in the morning I like to see my curated timeline and don't get the most viewed posts or the most engaging posts so that I can read my personal timeline. And maybe later in the day, I like to burn some time off
Mm.
and get this other content too. Yeah, so that I
Why
can
is it
switch.
big corporations like LinkedIn or Microsoft not interested in a curated timeline? What do you think? They could have long done it, right? I mean, that's
Yeah, they could have done it. I don't know. Maybe because then it's harder to get their ads in. Yeah, because I think at the moment on my LinkedIn, I'm unsure how it's on your timeline, but on my timeline, I think each third or fourth post is some kind of ad, paid ad. So, and I think they would, um, it would be harder to get a special ad in that reach out to people if you have a more selected, curated timeline.
that might be true, yeah. And that's why, because it would be much nicer if I could just select the people I want to see in my timeline instead of unselecting the people who I don't want to see in my timeline.
Yeah,
Like,
but that can you more or less do with unfollow directly after you have the contact.
yeah, I mean, it would be much nicer if I start at 0 and whitelist the people instead of starting at 100 and blacklist the people. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
to have a allow list and not to get them blocked. Yeah, or some kind of blocked. Yeah, it's a soft blocking of people currently. But you can't also hard block and say, "Oh, I don't like you anymore. Go away. Don't read my stuff too." That's a bit unfriendly, maybe.
Um, do you think is there are there like is there some option for me to consume more of the interesting stuff? Is there I guess there's probably not an app that filters LinkedIn content because for that they would have to have an official partnership with LinkedIn, and that probably doesn't work. But for example, I see that on the small Discord server I started. Of course, there's like almost no people on there, but there's also no trash posts. So
Yeah, if you measure it with trash posting, you're right. Your private community is more nice, but also more inactive. Yeah, maybe trash content is part of the game
okay,
to have an active community. And I also do trash posting sometimes. Yeah, to be honest.
really?
Yeah, really. I'm sure some people think that I only trash post, and um, I think that's part of the social media game to also do some kind of trash posting. Yeah, you could not reach out to everybody, and some people think, oh, it's absolutely trash what you're doing. But I think a good way of doing it is to have groups and read special in the groups and not so there in the
Uh,
main timeline. But yeah, I think a private active community would be the most empowered field for company and community development. Yeah, if you have a good running private community, that will be the absolute best booster for you, for your personal development, for your company development, for your network to reach out to people. If you have an active community, and sometimes they are a bit active, if I still
yeah.
remember correctly, um, it's good to have a network to reach out to these people. And now I get feedback if I do writing there some kind of content. But I think my personal content in your Discord community is always some kind of trashy content, like, okay, it's Friday, what do you have done this week? But I think that's not helpful for everybody. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
more some experiment to get the people more active.
Yeah, correct, correct. But I think, yeah, that's such like building such a community is kind of the opportunity because LinkedIn doesn't allow these curated spaces. Because if you have a curated space on LinkedIn, it almost feels like your private, individualized community because you filter the posts so much.
Yeah, right. It's I think that's because we don't have StudiVZ anymore.
Right?
Yeah, too much privacy. You need this kind of, okay, I try to reach out to everybody on the network and get the engagement, and so there needs to be a good hook, and then I get the click on more, and then the
Mm,
people might be getting my content and might engaging with it. Yeah, but is that not the same we do every day in our normal social lives? We social life. We get on the street and we hope we meet nice people, especially if we go to some kind of bar camp or other social event for company founders.
hmm. But I think people are acting differently in person than online. There we are, for example, we have the problem, which is maybe a little bit related, that nowadays there's so much online. So in a bigger company, every employee says his or her opinion because it's online. If you would have been meeting in person with the people, then there are a lot of people who are more shy, they keep quiet, and then there's like two or three big opinions, and then you take a vote, and then you do what one of those opinions. But if it's all online in your news feed on LinkedIn, I think that it gives everyone a voice, but I think it's also can also be negative because you get a lot of voices and a lot of shit.
Yeah, sure. But in my opinion, I would like to have it in my company that everybody has a voice and could speak up to present his or her opinion on a topic. But it's different than on LinkedIn or any other social network. I think LinkedIn is at the moment the most controlled or social controlled network. So because you have your real name on it, you stand with your name there and do only shit posting that will be okay if your grandmother is watching you.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. If so, on other networks like Blue Sky or X or Instagram or maybe TikTok, there's more anonymity, and so you do even more shit posting. So it's on
That might be
LinkedIn,
true.
it's
Yeah.
mostly business related shit posting or sometimes political related shit posting, and many people that don't um, individualize their AI content. And I think the most annoying thing is this not individualized AI content that we have at the moment.
I see, I see, yeah. And it's interesting that you say that you would like that every of your employees has that voice and tells their opinion. Maybe it's different when it's a bigger company. For example, you're sitting with 60 people in a voice call, not with 6 people, and then everyone wants to say their opinion. Um,
Yeah, maybe the call is too big, in my opinion. Yeah, if you need more than 2 pizzas, your meeting is too big. And so I have only meetings with myself.
because you eat 2 pizzas
Yeah,
alone.
so perfect sizing, and nobody has an opinion against my ideas. No, but you understand, yeah, if your groups and your meetings are not so big, you could hear the voices and get the opinions. And I think that's especially in founding and scaling up a company really important to hear the people, if you like. And
Yeah,
so
that's
right
very
sizing of
interesting.
meetings is the most important step to have a good meeting.
Yeah, yeah, 60 people is a lot.
Yeah, that's more like a town hall and you're speaking to your people and they don't have an opinion. That's more to inform about really important stuff.
Yeah, yeah, okay. I don't want to drift too much from the topic, but
Yeah.
yeah,
But I think there's no more to say on this LinkedIn topic. Or do you have any more opinions?
I don't. Actually, yeah, I think we're fine for now. That was a good test.
Fine. Then we should stop the record. Stop the vote.